Yes, hello everybody, welcome back to the British Grand Prix here in the Flashpoint Racing League on a Wednesday night. Of course, had a bit of technical problems there. Do apologise, of course, for the lobby going down, but we are back, and we are back with a vengeance, ready for this race to start once more. I think one of the problems was just with the drivers and what was going on, I believe, was one of the penalties that was handed out. But with that said, like I say, glad to be back on air, and of course glad to be able to watch these drivers in action around this brilliant Grand Prix circuit down south in England. Now, with that said, in case you missed qualifying, I've just jumped in to watch the race with me here. Thank you first of all for jumping on and watching with me. The driver who got pole position is the championship leader of Selly 360. The man in P2 in the standings, of course, is Limitless F1, who actually had qualified, I believe it was P6, but actually should start P5 if Volcano does get his penalty. Could potentially have had his penalty revoked, so don't hold me on that. But there is potential either way to see what the drivers will do. So just waiting, for the course, for the players now as I take a swig of my water, of course, because it's going to be the most exciting part of the race for sure to see the drivers go through. So, like I say, waiting for the players now. Not sure if there will be formation lap tonight. Usually there is not, of course, because there is a few glitches within the game that have caused many issues with the formation lap and of course with the rest of the drivers. So potentially we could have it, potentially not. It has been patched, although there has been times where of course we cannot get the formation lap working without disqualifying people. So thank you so much for jumping on board with me, watching this race. Of course, still waiting for the players to ready up, do some strategies as we see the bright blue skies up above over the Silverstone circuit. 18 corners, some of the most known corners in the world, and of course some of the fastest, most exciting corners as well. But here we are, the lights are on, no formation lap here this weekend as we go green here at Silverstone. It's a great start initially from Selly across as it goes through. It's actually Kingsman, of course, gets disqualified instantly, but at the moment it looks like Selly is actually going to get battled from Jamie. Yes, he is. Jamie looks like he's going to get P1 as he goes through towards the village section now. Gatkowski is one of the Mercedes, keeps it nice and calm in P3. See Volcano coming around the outside in P4 as well. Didn't get that penalty applied to himself. Cucumber in that Alpine in P5, and also Limitless in that Red Bull in P6. Looks like they're battling side by side as well, of course. NSX Cucumber on those hard tyres, and and Limitless as well, trying to get down the inside on those mediums. He's going to want to get through past him as quick as possible. Yes, he does. Goes through on the inside of Volcano as well. Can he get that move done potentially on the Aston Martin as well? He goes around the outside. Looks like he can get it done outside of Luffield, but he's keeping it nice and tight now. What can Volcano do? Yes, he's done it. He's through on the inside, and that's a great move around the outside for Limitless going through. That's a move that he had to do, and of course Cucumber's actually down behind Carl now as well in the Haas, but it's a great start from Jamie out front, ahead of Selly, the championship leader, followed by Gatkowski, Limitless as well, a brilliant start in P4 on those medium tyres. That's exactly what we wanted to see with those tyres. Carl as well in P6 just behind Volcano, great start from him, but Cucumber looks on the warpath now on those hard tyres, wants to get through surely, but Carl actually on the attack now from Volcano. Volcano possibly made a mistake going through, and Carl looks like to be going around the outside. Can he do it at Stowe? Yes, he can. Chucks it in, great move for himself around the outside on those soft tyres, using those to his advantage as quickly as possible as Volcano tucks in behind. We see actually the Alfa Romeo battling away with the McLaren as well of Dirk and Lezard too, and it looks like there's a bit of a yellow flag at the back as Jamie gets the fastest lap of the race initially, but it looks like Rudy and Marios in the Ferrari. Oh, another mistake by Marios, getting involved in problems with a Williams, but at the moment he is down towards the back of the grid, but it looks like Rudy let him through, suggesting to me that he did not make the best of choices there in overtakes. But looking at this at the moment, the man who's under pressure is Gatkowski initially off the start. Let's get everything back up now. We see the position change. Is a great start from Limitless and Carl as well, and OP Dirk must be said as well in that McLaren, who actually gets another move done on Igor, and he looks to be going through as Mavros gets the move done as well on Lezard in the Alpine. So it looks to me at the moment like that's a great start from himself, but Selly in AlphaTauri, not the best start again. Once more, kind of like last week, didn't get the best start off the grid. Jamie, look at that, pulling away instantly in that Red Bull. And he's going to want to see what he can do. But already only 33% ERS. He's really gunning for it. He wanted to break that DRS, and he's done so in the Red Bull. But at the moment, it looks to me like Selly, who's the man, of course, who's leading the championship, he's kind of being stuck in no man's land. He's not going to have the DRS of Jamie at the moment, of course, as he's using all his DRS to get away from him. To me, at the moment, it looks potentially, like, he's going to try and get away on those soft tyres actually on. No wonder he's in first position. But Selly on the hard tyres, followed by Gatkowski as well. Let's get those tyres on the screen for you guys, and we can see what everybody's running. Look at the difference. This is one of the brilliant things about this game. You can actually run different types of tyres, and it really works for everybody. But Jamie with another fastest lap of the race, 28.2. That's exactly what Healer wanted to see, getting back in third position. Selly following him through. Gatkowski under a bit of pressure on those hards from Limitless. You see now, does he go down the inside going towards it? Yes, he does. Oh, it could be almost a bit of contact. No, but he keeps it off the Mercedes, and it looks to me like if he just chucks it through, of course, DRS will be enabled now. Yes, it is. Let's see what his straight line speed's like. Will Limitless use any of his overtakes to get past? It looks potentially like he will. Yes, he does. Going side by side with the Mercedes now, but chucks it through at the end of the first sector, and that's an easy move for Limitless, and he's right behind his championship rival now of Selly. Let's see what he can do, of course, on the faster tyres. He's going to want to use them to his advantage as quickly as possible. But at the moment, the hard runners do seem to be struggling, as Carl once more in the Haas, also on the back of the driver as well, as Kingsman leaves the session. A bit of problems for him at the start. Doesn't look like he, as he got disqualified off the line, I believe, actually. A bit of a glitch with the game, unfortunately, but nothing you can do there with that. But at the moment, Jamie out in front, 1.6 seconds clear of the rest of the field. Limitless, 3/10 behind that of Selly. Gatkowski as well, directly behind them too, so he's going to want to pick up the pieces, of course, after Limitless just overtook him. But let's see what he can do now, because he seems to be on the back, but looking to me, it looks like Carl getting through on the inside as well. Yes, he is. Will he try and go for a move on Limitless? No, he doesn't. Tucked in just behind. But another great move from Carl going through in the Haas. And at the moment, it looks to me like Limitless is the man on the warpath, as is Carl. Is Limitless going down the inside? No, he isn't. Thinks better on it. Understand, of course, he will get that DRS come through sooner rather than later. It's still Jamie out front, though, followed by Selly, Limitless, Carl, Gatkowski, Volcano, Cucumber in P7 as well. Not the start Healer wanted, but of course, just like last week, he'll buy his time and see what he can do as strategy comes through the race. But now looking at that as well, look at the gap from the top 8. It's like two separate races. You've got Lolo Vera 3 seconds behind, a bit of no man's land by himself there. He's really holding up the field, but it looks to me at the moment like Limitless is the man on the move. Let's see what he can do. Opens up his DRS. Doesn't seem to be like he can do it at the moment. There's a yellow flag in the background. Has somebody possibly gone off the track? Has it been Stefano possibly in that Alpha Tauri? But the yellow flags soon go away, and note positions change towards the front. Looks like a bit of a DRS train's caught at the moment, but Jamie's still pulling away, 1.9 seconds clear of the rest of the field from Selly, from Limitless, from Carl, Gatkowski and Volcano as well. So let's see what they can do. Through now towards the Maggots and Beckett section. He's going to want a really good run through here, is Selly, to make sure he gets out of that DRS, or as far away as possible from Limitless anyway, to make sure the DRS is not as effective. Let's see what Limitless does. Will he try and go for the overtake? Potentially, of course, on those medium tyres. He's going to want to open a gap as quickly as possible. He's in the slipstream. Will he try and go down the inside? No, he doesn't quite have the straight line speed to do it at the moment. Doesn't want to use the DRS to do so. Selly actually has more DRS as well at the moment, so that's interesting to see. Look at the drivers though. Line Stern going through towards the club section. Like I say, feel free to put your comments down below as who you think is going to win this race. Of course, Jamie with an electric start on those soft tyres. Now it's that point where the softs will start to turn to mush, and the mediums will really come into their own, and the hard tyres as well. So initially, at the moment, as you see, actually Gatkowski, he looks really close to the cars in front. Doesn't quite get through on Carl, who actually gets, of course, that move done on the Mercedes driver. But at the moment, like I say, the soft tyres are going to start to go off. And it looks to me like the Mercedes driver will get through. It looks like an easy move at the moment. Will he get back on the inside? Yes, he does. The Haas does not really want to battle that much going through. And it looks to me like he's really backing off now, trying to understand how he can make this strategy work for himself. Another yellow flag towards the end of the first sector, but it doesn't seem to be for anything too bad at the moment. But Volcano down the inside as well. Can he get that move done? Yes, he can down the inside. Great move from himself. But looking at that, the Haas back down the inside. Will he get the move back, switch back? Yes, he does. The Haas back through of Carl. Volcano went for the move as Lolo Vera gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings already. That's not what he's going to want to see. But Volcano once again wants to get back past Carl. Will he be able to do it in this DRS section? Of course, Carl is not a man to move over and just let him through, but at the moment it seems to be exactly what he's doing. Doesn't want to fight too much with the Aston Martin, lets him through, and Volcano gets through on the inside as Walcott gets a 3-second time penalty through there as well. Time penalty already feels. Oh, there's a bit of contact possible. Yes, there is. And it looks to me, yes, the Ferrari gets in contact as well. But Cucumber, the man who won the race last week, goes into the back of the Haas driver there of Carl, and that's another disaster for Carl. He didn't seem to do anything wrong there. The fastest time player for OP Dirt comes through, spinning in the pit, and look at the cars now, so close together. But it looks to me like Cucumber, the man who won the race last week, actually got a bit of contact through with that of Carl, and looks to me like he was the man at fault. I could be wrong, but that's what it seemed like from my perspective. There's a bit of battling on in the background. Let's see what the Williams is doing, getting through on the inside of Walcott. Yes, he is. Rudy goes through on the inside as well of the Alpine of Mavros. And it looks potentially at the moment like this is where the battle's lying at the moment. But it looks also as well as actually Limitless in all that. Gets through past Selly 2. Missed that myself. Do apologise. But it's now Red Bull 1-2 up front. And already look at how much Limitless is closing that gap to Jamie as the soft tyres and medium tyres start to come towards each other. And it looks at the moment, look at that as the Red Bull, Selly was really wide there in the Alpha Tauri. That's not something he's going to want to do much. If he does that, of course, he will get a time penalty. It's not something that he needs to win a World Championship. So Selly at the moment, down into P3 on those hard tyres. He's going to want to keep in touch with Limitless. He's still within DRS, as is Gatkowski from Selly. But at the moment, after Cucumber hits Carl and spins him round, it looks like the top 5 are really the drivers who were within contention for this race. As Cucumber, of course, is still there behind. But of course, he just doesn't seem to have the pace after there was that bit of contact, potentially a bit of damage for himself. But we'll see going through later in the race what will happen. But at the moment, it's a Red Bull 1-2 out front. Jamie being closed in all the time by Limitless in the sister Red Bull. He looks like he's within DRS now. Yes, he is. It looks potentially is almost like you might going through have DRS. Yes, he does. Going through. See what he can do. This DRS straight now. He opens DRS. Yes, he does. It doesn't look like he's going to have much in that of straight line speed. It doesn't really pull through, and it doesn't look like either of them are using any ERS too. So it looks potentially like Jamie actually has less downforce on that car. But at the moment, it is Selly followed by Gatkowski, Volcano as well, keeping tabs. The hard runners really not being left behind, sorry, should I say, by the soft and medium runners of Jamie and Limitless. So that's something to be seen in future. Selly, of course, only 6/10 behind Limitless. So he's still pulling Limitless in, and he's going to want to keep there as much as possible to make sure he can save his ERS, get within that DRS, and use it really to pull him along towards Jamie, the leader. As Limitless now is actually out of DRS as well, so Jamie's still pulling away in that Red Bull. And it looks at the moment, actually, his Limitless does still have DRS, so he must have just been within the detection as the time went across. But at the moment, as we see Lezad and JR Lolovera as well in the Aston Martin, they seem to be battling. Lezad already out of ERS, so that's not something you're going to want to see. He's going to be an easy sitting duck at this rate if he's not careful. But it looks like Lolovera, who already has a penalty, 3-second time penalty, of course, for those corner cuts, he potentially could be through on the Alfa Romeo of Lezad as quickly and as early as the next DRS section. So let's see what they're doing. As Gatkowski once again closes in, of course, on Selly 2 in the Mercedes. Let's see what the leaders are doing sooner rather than later. But for now, let's focus on this. Lezad and Lolovera. As Lolovera is so close to the Alfa Romeo driver, but it looks to me at the moment like he should be able to fly past with how little ERS Lezad has left. So let's ride on board now with Lolovera. Will Lezad put up any defence going through towards the quick left-hander? No, actually, Lolovera doesn't want to go through for that move. Maybe he wants to get DRS towards the end of the lap, but at the moment he's not looking to get past Alfa Romeo. As he goes through the old pit straight now, of course, through Woodcut through the national pit straight towards Cops Corner. Looks to me like Lolovera wants to get DRS now going through towards and onto the hanger straight, so that's something to look out for. But at the moment, out front, let's not forget as well, it's Limitless following Jamie in P1, and then of course followed by Selly, who's followed by Gatkowski in the Mercedes. Of course, just like last week at the Hungarian, the lead is separated by almost nothing. There's so many different strategies. We actually see the Ferrari get down the inside. Yes, it is a Venice, it's Cucumber. So Spanias now as well in the Ferrari, through on the inside of Cucumber. Cucumber potentially could have damage from that collision that he had with the Haas driver of Carl, as Marios gets through on the inside, of course, of Stefano, as we just saw in the background too. And at the moment, it's Cucumber almost loses it on the exit of Club Corner there as well. He is not having the race he wants. He's really going to want to push on from that victory in Hungary, but at the moment it's been a really scrappy race weekend for Cucumber, and potentially could be damage limitation, as out front Limitless and Selly with 2 championship rivals for himself really started to run away from him. So let's see what he can do for the rest of this race, but at the moment he's just nowhere. compared to the rest of the drivers. Gatkowski still on the back of Selly as well, but as it all settles down through lap 9 now, it looks like Jamie's tyres really starting to fall off the cliff. He's only 7 tenths ahead now of his teammate, and Limitless as well, only 4 tenths ahead of Selly. So at the same time, the soft and the medium runners are really starting to pull back into the hard tyres now, and it looks to me like Selly, Gatkowski and Volcano will have the upper hand in the upcoming laps. Let's see, of course, what happens with safety cars and so on, but at the moment, looks like Selly will be the man who puts a move on Limitless sooner rather than later. But if it's almost like last week, I assume him himself will want to stick behind Limitless and really kind of wait till the end of the race, and just like Cucumber did, and put those fresh medium tyres on and try and get a move done there. But at the moment, like I say, Selly not wanting to put a move on Limitless, neither is Gatkowski on that of Selly. But again, every single lap, closer and closer the drivers are getting together. They want to work together, they want to pull away, but at the same time, they're holding each other up. So let's see as we go through. Igor actually gets a move on. I believe it's NLR really actually is Carl gets. Is he in pit lane? Yes, he is. Carl actually goes into the pit lane on them soft tyres. What could have been for him? And of course, that contact with Cucumber really caused problems for himself. But at the moment, Carl into the pit lane on the soft tyres, potentially going on to the mediums or hards. Mediums could correct at the end of the race, although at the end he could be very vulnerable to any other strategy. Madross also into the pit. Both of the drivers going to medium tyres, so that just goes to show that is definitely possible. But Jamie at the moment, as we ride on board with him, looks to just be losing that time as the tyres just start to really scrub and have the worst kind of grip now as he goes towards Cops Corner now. Let's see if we can see Limitless closing in on him, but it looks currently, like I said, as Selly pushes through, that he could be the main problem here in this race, as Limitless of course will want to get past Jamie, whether it be in the pit stop or on track. But at the moment, Selly really just closing in on Limitless. Let's see, he's right on board now with Limitless, of course, still has DRS. It looks to me like Selly is not the man who wants to really get past anyone at the moment. He just wants to, actually, yeah, you see Limitless, he doesn't want to actually get past his teammate there. He closes the DRS soon now to make sure he doesn't actually get through, but it looks to me, yes it is, Jamie goes into pit lane now as Cucumber gets back past the Ferrari there into P6, and now we see Jamie into the pit lane. Let's see what he does. It looks to me like he'll potentially go on to the medium tyres and go through towards the end of the race. Let's see what Selly does now. Will he try and get back past Limitless, his championship rival? And look at Gatkowski as well, really pushing on now, really wants to get through as Cucumber goes through into P5, as of course as Jamie gets past in the pits. So this is really where the race starts to come alive now, guys. So if you are watching, feel free to comment down below who you think's got the best strategy. But at the moment, looks to me as Stefano gets through just on Jamie out of the pit lane. So let's see if Jamie can actually get through on them as he comes out of the pit lane now. You can see he's quite a big lost time in the pit lane here. So it looks about 20-30 seconds almost. So the drivers are really going to want to have a big advantage going through. But at the moment, looks like Selly is the man who's on the warpath and wants to really get a move on. But at the same time, looking at Gatkowski there as well in the Mercedes, he's really starting to smell that gearbox of the AlphaTauri and wants to see what can be done. As we see there now, as Carl, of course, in P15 on those medium tyres, of course, he came out about 11 seconds behind Jamie in the Red Bull. So of course his race absolutely ruined by that contact with Cucumber. So sad to see. A great race from them two up until that point. But at the moment, like I say, Jamie 27.9 seconds clear, but that gap is coming down ever so slightly as we see Selly possibly down the inside. No, he keeps it just behind TRL Limitless, who does not want to alleviate the lead, but also doesn't want to get into pit lane as well. We see Lolo Vera get back through on Lezad as well. Finally through on the inside is the Aston Martin driver. Will Lezad try and get a move down the inside towards Club? No, he keeps it tucked in behind, potentially going to try and get ERS as well, as Spanias in the Ferrari goes into the pit lane as well. Also the AlphaTauri Stefano into the pit lane too, but until then it looks like Marios, Rudy and Igor as well fighting it out for the lower positions within the points. Let's see who can get the 9th place there as they go through. And at the moment, looking at this now, Gatkowski right on the back. Look at this, so the 4 leaders separated by a second, and none of them want to make the first move. None of them want to use the ERS, but there's going to be a point where they're going to have to make the move now. Of course, as Jamie in the pits came out, and of course, really going to be pushing out on those hard tyres. And it seems like the hard tyres are a good race tyre to be on, but currently Limitless leading the race and not having it all his way on those medium tyres. Of course, he will be on the slower tyres, the harder tyres, but of course they are more durable, so if he pits sooner, he can get a good undercut on these guys. Just hope that he can defend, but of course this is not Hungary. This isn't like last week. This is a much harder track to defend on. Of course, we will see what the drivers can do. Selly right behind now, Limitless, and Volcano really as well. Will he try and put a move on Gatkowski? I don't think he will. But at the moment, it looks like Selly, the man, of course, who keeps closing on Limitless, the championship rival. Of course, the two battled it out at the top of the championship for the first 5 rounds. We see Limitless, yes, going into the pit lane now. Let's see where he comes out compared to his teammate of Jamie. As Limitless, oh, a 5-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane. That's massive. Absolutely massive. Limitless speeding in the pit lane, 5-second time penalty. That could be massive for the race result. As Lezad also gets a 5-second time penalty as well, but Limitless, a rookie error, it must be said, puts what looks to be the hard tires on. Yes, it is. 5-second time penalty. That could be massive. He really wanted to win this race. He wanted to get back on track, but those 5 seconds could be massive if other drivers don't get penalties. So as he comes back out of the pit lane now, where will he be? It looks like Jamie, who comes down the final corner now onto the pit straight, he's going to be easily ahead of his teammate. And after all that, Limitless, who came out, is now in P10. Jamie just out ahead of him, so he's lost about half a second or two, maybe a second or so compared to his teammate. But he's got a 5-second time penalty now for speeding in the pit lane as Carl gets through on the on Lezad, Yuka just comes out of the pit lane as well, so Carl through. But Limitless, 5-second time penalty as Cucumber has left the session. That is not what you want to see. Maybe some, yeah, it looks to me like it's actually some problems with his internet potentially, because he was in a good position. P4, yes, he had that contact early on, but he's still a man who could have potentially got a really good result in this race. But Selly now, as Cucumber joins back in the session, thankfully, so he's not going to have too many issues. But Selly pushing it now as well, using him with ERS, as Gatkowski also as well. You see the top 3 starting to kind of push now and really kind of expand away, and you can see Gatkowski and Selly as well pulling away from Volcano as he really starts to put the hammer down. As another 3-second time penalty for Lezad, not what he's going to want to see. But the big news from all of that is Rudy gets down the inside of Igor as well in the Mercedes. Can he get around the outside? Yes, he can. Igor, though, wants to get around the outside of Club Connor, won't be able to do that in the Mercedes. And of course, the man who's going to be interested in all this as well is Marios too. Can he nip a few positions from these guys too? As of course all these drivers yet to pit, but still need to get into the pit lane, put some good fresh tyres on. But like I was saying just then, the big news story from all that is Limitless. He's got a 5-second penalty. And that's going to be massive for the race results. We see Marius really late on the brakes there on those hard tyres, still trying to get past the Mercedes and the Williams. The Williams, of course, it seems in this race so far has been an absolute rocket ship in a straight line anyway. So let's see what he can do. Can he defend from the rest of the drivers? P6 at the moment. Looks to me like he can do. Yes, he can. Doesn't know any move coming down the inside. No, there isn't at the moment. But Spanias gets from the inside of the McLaren as well. But at the moment, Selly out front once more. Let's see when he comes into the pit lane. Will he try and put soft tyres on? Potentially. Of course, the fuel runs down. But looking at Gatkowski as well, he doesn't want to wait along too much. Volcano, of course, waiting in the wing as well, second behind. But Limitless with a 5-second penalty. Of course, Jamie pitted a few laps before. He's still in the lead. 2.3 seconds it looks like at the moment as Gatkowski gets down the inside and he takes the race lead at the moment. Of course, he's not waiting any longer for Selly to push away. Is Gatkowski going to come into the pit lane? No, but Selly definitely does. Yes, he does, as does Volcano. Gatkowski still believes he has time on the board. Ow, as you see, Spanias gets 3-second time penalty. Almost Volcano gets back at Selly. But thankfully, there is the pit lane. No problems at all. No penalties either. Let's see what tyres they put on. Potentially could put the soft tyres on. Would more than likely expect to see mediums, but it has definitely been seen before, as we see Rudy gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. Really easy, it seems, to get penalties for speeding in the pit lane here, as a lot of the drivers are coming in now. But it is the medium tyres for Volcano and the medium tyres for Selly as well. All the drivers seem to be coming in for medium tyres. Oh, as you see, Lolo Vera seems to be queuing in the pit lane as well. Let's see what Jamie can do. Yes, he's back into the net race lead, of course, when the two Mercedes pit out front. So Jamie up into P1, Limitless as well into P2. After, of course, the drivers come back out. But looking at that, Selly not too far behind Limitless. Neither is Volcano. And with the 5-second time penalty, Limitless really is a sitting duck now to be overtaken, not just by those two, but by the rest of the drivers who've pitted in for medium tyres. So let's see what they can do. Gatkowski still in P1. Will he try and push this a little bit longer? Have a bit of an alternate strategy and go on to the soft tyre? Potentially. Could be seen. But it looks at the moment, Jamie out front, who of course has that rear guard really of Limitless. Of course, the man who's in championship contention. But with that said, realistically, he could really, I don't know, with Limitless, it's just such a horrible race for himself. It really is such a horrible race for him because, you know, he's not really had the time of it in Hungary, and then coming here, wanted to bounce back, had the opportunity to have a good qualifying session, didn't really put the lap together towards the end, which is a shame for himself, and then that not really needed penalty of 5 seconds as Gatkowski does come into the pit lane, so we can see that all the top runners have now pitted, and it is the medium tyres that comes on for Gatkowski. Let's see where he comes out, as his teammate Igor as well comes into the pit lane too, as Lezard gets back on the inside of the McLaren. But 16 laps already of this exhilarating British Grand Prix here on the Wednesday night of Flashpoint, and looking at that, that is not good from Codemasters, that must be said at the The Mercedes teammate of Igor was so far behind, and yet he still got held up. But let's see what can happen now. Selly through. Yes, he's still ahead of Gatkowski. Gatkowski comes out just behind Volcano. So Volcano has actually got past Gatkowski and all that, of course, who just overtook Selly towards the end. That just shows how important the undercut is on F123. But Gatkowski, of course, with the 1 lap fresher tyres. Let's see if he can use that towards the end. Not looking to use it at the moment, but Volcano not got the ERS to play with anymore. Neither does Selly by the looks of it, and Gatkowski with 54% could be the man on the mission. And Limitless, like I say, not really looking for just again, it's just a disappointment from Limitless, the man who was so brilliant in the first 4 races, 2 Grand Prix victories, of course took the victory on the final corner in Saudi Arabia. But now, of course, making some silly little mistakes, and that's not what you want to see if you want to win a World Championship. Cristiano will be going mad in the Red Bull pit lane for seeing those mistakes from Limitless. But at the moment, looking at Selly pulling in on him as well, doesn't look like Limitless can really pull in on Jamie at the moment on those hard tyres. But Selly is the man to watch, 1.8 seconds behind the race leader, but of course right on the back of Limitless now. Let's get the intervals back up for the drivers there. You see 3/10 of a second already right behind Limitless. Let's see if Limitless tries to defend this, or if he lets him through and just tries to win his own race and really kind of push away and not lose as much time as possible to make sure that 5 seconds doesn't really cost him too much of an issue. But look at that, 1.4 seconds already better on his fastest lap time for Selly. Will he try and get through the inside here? Maybe potentially go for the DRS. No, he goes down the inside, and it looks to me, Selly down the inside. Yes, Limitless is sitting duck at the moment, and there's nothing Limitless could do. And at the moment, it looks like Selly is the man who could once again be on 4 victories. Carl gets a 3-second time penalty in that time. But Selly, the championship leader, gets through on his main championship rival, and it looks to me, on those medium tyres, the ultimate strategy, once again, just like last week, starting to show why it is superior here around the Silverstone circuit. As we go through Luffield with Selly, already only 0.5 of a second behind the race leader Jamie. So surely that will happen sooner rather than later. Volcano as well, already right on the back of TRL Limitless as Walcott once again, a 5-second time penalty, spinning the pit and then retires. The man who doesn't want anything else to do with this race. But Limitless again under pressure, as we can see out front. Selly right on the back of the Red Bull. This could be it. This could be the moment of the victory. Changes hands in the DRS, in the tracks now. Can Jamie really defend this? Doesn't look like he can do as it goes down the inside now. Selly, the championship leader, takes the championship lead last week, and he takes the lead of this race this week. And another step, another foot forward towards the trophy potentially for Selly as he goes through into P1. And Jamie and Limitless, nothing they can do in the 2 Red Bulls to get back past Selly as he is on the faster tyre, as we see Volcano starting to push now as well, and Gatkowski. So let's see what they can do. Can they get back past the Red Bulls as well and push those 2 Red Bulls who were 1-2 for so long in this race down and off the podium? Limitless with that 5-second time, and it really is sitting duck for these drivers. But looking at this, Volcano down the inside potentially, yes, a bit of contact on the inside actually, and Volcano, can he get back through? No, he can't. Really a bit of a move that didn't need to happen for Volcano, then that's really put Gatkowski on the back of him. Gatkowski down the inside now. Can he get that move from Volcano? Yes, he can, down the inside. He's going to be boxed in now behind the Red Bull of Limitless. Can he get through on the inside? Potentially, yes. Limitless keeps it through. Gatkowski, though, gets the move done on Volcano around the outside of Limitless. Limitless going to push him all the way to the edge of Luffield now. Yes, he does, onto the grass, and that's going to cost him. That's going to mean Volcano can get back down the inside. Yes, he can. And now Volcano down the inside. Can he get through on Limitless as well? No, he can't, but it's some good clean racing. Limitless really pushed it to the edge there. But because of that, Gatkowski back into P5, Volcano in P4. But again, side by side going towards the Magnets and Beckett section. Can't go side by side there, surely. No, they don't. Gatkowski backs out of it. And thankfully for himself, no contact that caused too many issues there. But both the drivers really want to get back past Limitless, and because of that, they're starting to lose time with each other, because of course Jamie is out front, of course, of them two in second place. Both these drivers could be on the podium, but they are getting stuck behind the stubborn Red Bull of Limitless F1, who is not letting them through. He wants to fight for this podium. He wants, of course, even with that 5-second penalty, to show that he had the pace to be on that podium, get an extra points for him. Because at the moment, he will be off the podium and will be down in P5 as they are 5 seconds clear of Spanias in the Ferrari, who's had a bit of a lonely race there in P6. But looking at the moment now, looks like Limitless is down the inside. Volcano goes. Can he get through? No, he can't. But Gatkowski once more. Is Volcano really try down the inside? Yes, he does, but can't quite get there. Gatkowski will get the best run out of the three of them, though. It looks to me like Volcano, who potentially could be side by side with Limitless once again, will also be side by side with Gatkowski. Gatkowski, yes, as Volcano gets boxed in towards the inside once more behind Limitless. Can Gatkowski get through the inside? Yes, he can this time. Will Volcano try and get back round? No, he doesn't. And it's second time lucky for Gatkowski. He doesn't try and go around the outside this time. He understands that Limitless will push him out wide. And Volcano, who has no ERS left to play with, has nothing to do to get back past him. But Gatkowski, a brilliant move into P4, and he can get on the back of Limitless and try and get back through into P3 onto the podium and then get back past Jamie and through into second place. This is a man, of course, who is so consistent in the league, not quite got a victory yet in Tier 1 this season, but always consistently on the podium. A man who's had 3 second places, I believe, and now he's looking to get back on the podium. Opens his DRS. Can Limitless defend this on the inside? Yes, he's looking to do so. Will Gatkowski trying around the outside? Surely not on those medium tyres. He tries it around the outside. Can he do it? Oh, there's a bit of contact between them, but it looks to me like he's got through. Yes, he has. It's still side by side. Limitless as well. Tries to get back through around the outside of Club. Can't quite do it. And it looks to me like Gatkowski was pushed and bashed his way through into P3 now. And he can get on the back of Jamie. But what can Volcano do in that Aston Martin? Limitless just dropping like a stone on those hard tyres. Doesn't have the pace. Doesn't have the grip. As we see Lolo Vera, 5 second time out speeding in the pit lane. Will Volcano try and go down the inside? Yes, he does. Bit of contact there. Goes over the curb. Doesn't need to be doing this. He's got all the time in the world and he's got the straights to do it as well. But he just doesn't have the ERS to play with. Let's see. Let's ride on board with him. Let's see if he can get his move done down the inside. Will Limitless go defensive towards section here at the end of the first sector? No, he doesn't. Oh, it's a big contact. Yes, there is. Limitless is round. Volcano is round. That is a move that we did not want to see. The championship contender Limitless round in the Red Bull, as is Volcano. And looking at that Cucumber through now on the inside, Limitless, who has that 5 second penalty, he's going to be absolutely livid in that Red Bull. That is something that did not need to happen. It was a battle that did not need to end in contact. And Volcano, who keeps it into P4, spins round Limitless. It looked a bit like 2 of one and 4 of the other for the drivers. But at the moment, Limitless, another torrid race for himself, down in P7 with that 5 second penalty. Potentially couldn't have a worse race than this. But Gatkowski in P3, can he get through on the inside of Jamie as well? Yes, he does. Jamie does not put up a fight. He understands this is not his battle now. Now let's see what Gatkowski can do. Can he get on the back of Selly, who's really just pulled away at the front? But that again, as Cucumber gets into P4 as well, through on the inside of Volcano. Cucumber, who up into P4, a great recovery for himself. Of course, I'm sure there will be a bit of an investigation after the race to see what that contact was with Carl. But Limitless, again, just not what he wants to see. Another race down at the lower point positions. And after so much promise in qualifying, so much time that was still on the table, he's down in P7. And with 21 laps gone on this race, it doesn't look like he's going to have a lot of time to pull away a gap to really get through on these drivers. But let's see, because Spanias, of course, will have penalties. Let's see what the penalties are that everybody has at the moment. Let's see. So it looks at the moment, yeah, Lezab, of course, with an 8 second time penalty. Limitless won't have a problem from them. Carl, though, will potentially get through if he keeps in that 2 seconds. But like I say, Limitless spun round there by Volcano, and that is not what you want to see. Cucumber is a man who definitely would appreciate that as he's up into P4. Jamie, of course, settling into P3 now as well. Gatkowski, let's see what he can do as he is now up into second place. 1 up from his position on the grid. It wouldn't seem that way, of course, with the race we've had so far from everybody. But at the moment, it looks like Limitless again will be down, and this will be another race where Selly opens up his championship at the front. So let's see what the gap is now from the leader to second place. 2.2 seconds. Really seems to just stay there when Selly's out front. It was there last week when Gatkowski was in second place as well. And it looks to me at the moment as Jamie is not dropping off the back of Gatkowski. Well, maybe he's biding his time, but he's still within the DRS. Of course, the hards will, of course, last longer. So there will be a time, of course, when the mediums aren't as useful for the drivers. But of course, with Gatkowski's tyres being 5 laps younger, I assume there wouldn't be much to that. But of course, Jamie with only 8% ERS left, doesn't look to me like he really will have much to push with, should I say, and get back past Gatkowski, who is actually just getting 5/10 of a second on Selly. The race is not over for the victory at the moment. like I say, everyone joining me now to watch the end of this exciting race in Tier 1. The race for the victory is not over. If you're looking for a bit of an overview of what happened so far, early on in the race, Cucumber with a bit of contact with Carl in the Haas, sent the Haas spinning. Carl's done really well to get it back up to P9, of course, but with some penalties. That's going to cost him as well. But yes, Cucumber had a problem, really lost a few positions. He's now back up into P4 after Volcano and Limitless collided in a collision that really didn't need to happen from the drivers, but it definitely has, and that's cost them both, as Volcano's down in P5 now. On the back, though, of Cucumber, let's see what he can do if he can get back past the Alpine driver. Both, I'm sure, will be under investigation after the race with the contact that was made with Carl and Limitless, respectively. But currently, as we see, Jamie's now out of DRS, so he's just going to run his own race, I believe, in P3. Gatkowski will definitely keep an eye on that gap with 4 laps to go after this one. But at the moment, it looks like Selly will be able to keep in P1, but Volcano, will he potentially try and go down the inside? No, he doesn't of Cucumber. He keeps it out at the moment. I see Marios down the inside potentially. No, around the outside. Actually, see the Williams as well on Carl around the outside. Yes, he does. And Carl over 2 positions like that, just lost them like they were nothing. Doesn't cause any contact there, though, which is good to see. Kept it nice and clean from all the drivers there. Limitless down in P8 as well. He's in a bit of no man's land at the moment after losing the positions that he had. And because of that, because of the contact with Volcano, he's stuck down in P8 now. But of course, like I say, we'll probably get the position back from Lezard, who of course has penalties from that as well. Who Lezard of course did get through on Limitless, but will get back past when penalties are applied. At the moment though, Volcano right on the back of Cucumber. This is the race for P4 at the moment. It could have been so much more for Volcano, and it could have been so much more for Cucumber if they weren't in silly little scraps themselves. But unfortunately for them, they were, and that's cost them both. 2 of the men who have such pace, of course. We saw Cucumber with an incredible race victory last out in Hungary. A man who wanted to have done so much better with the race this time out at Silverstone, but of course stuck in P4. Some good points if he doesn't get a penalty for that contact. But at the moment, out front, of course, Gatkowski 1.2 seconds behind Selly as well. Can he get his first race victory of the season here in Tier 1? Potentially, if he can get within DRS with a few laps to go, because the gap out front is closing. But at the moment, it looks like Volcano's the man on the warpath, 4 tenths behind Cucumber. Can he get down the inside potentially? Not using any of his ERS, so he's making sure he doesn't use too much. Will he potentially go down the inside? No, he doesn't. Cucumber still got a lot of ERS to play with as well, but these are the drivers who really are battling it out for position at the moment. Of course, behind that as well, Spanias, Lezard and Limitless looking to pick up the pieces also if these two do come to blows. But at the moment, Gatkowski is only 1 second behind now Selly with 3 laps to go. An exhilarating race here at Silverstone on a Wednesday night for the Flashpoint Racing League. 18 corners, from the most famous corners in the world, and they have not disappointed so far. Gatkowski almost within DRS of Selly, going through now towards the end of the Wellington Straight. We'll keep on board with this battle for now, but of course we will be keeping contact with those drivers too and seeing what they do. Volcano, of course, 3 tenths behind now. Will he try and get through on the inside? Doesn't look like he's using his ERS to do so, but potentially will he go down the inside? No, he doesn't. He keeps it just behind. Not what he did with Limitless, which caused the contact. But at the moment, Volcano really biding his time and knowing that towards the end of the race he can really use all his ERS, which is now sitting at 46%, same as Cucumber, so there's no difference there. But at the moment, like I say, Gatkowski closing that gap now up to 1.1 seconds, so Selly's found a bit of time now, and he's not within DRS yet, as we go with 2 laps to go now, as they just go through the hanging straight. You see the leaders in the bottom right on the minimap there. But at the moment, like I say, Gatkowski on the warpath, really trying to use those 1 lap fresher tyres to get within the DRS of Selly. But at the moment, Cucumber really looking to defend from Volcano as there's 2 laps to go after this one. You see Spanias behind as well in the Ferrari, really trying to go down the inside. Doesn't look like he is doing at the moment, but Volcano needs to be careful here. With Spanias as well, who actually went a bit wide there, and that's put Lezard in a good chance as well to get a move down the inside. But Spanias as well on the warpath also. Looks like at the moment though, Volcano, who really has had a bit of a torrid race for himself, could have been so much better. Is Gatkowski's left session? No! That's not what you want to see, Gatkowski! No, it looks to me like he's lost connection, and because of that, the race for the victory is over. That is so horrible to see. You hate to see it in league racing. Sometimes it can happen. But with that said, that's going to give Jamie a lifeline to try and get back up into P2, of course, as the AI drivers don't go at full throttle. But because of that, look at that, the gap is going up and up and up for Selly. And unfortunately for Gatkowski, it's almost like his car's got an issue. The gap is going down, down, down to Jamie. And Jamie, the man in the Red Bull, who would have really settled with P3, surely. Look at that, the gap's now down to 1.2 seconds from him. And it looks like Gatkowski, unless he can get back in this session, will actually lose his second place. So horrible to see. He was fighting for the win, fighting for the victory. A man who really wanted to throw himself into that championship contention. Surely, with a 7.7 second gap, he is absolutely clear of P3 and will keep that position with 1 lap to go after this one. But with him disconnecting from the session, the car not going as quickly as he can, Jamie in the Red Bull surely will have easy pickings with 1 lap to go through. Look at that, only 3 tenths behind now. This is not the way Jamie, of course. Jamie's a racer. He wants to make sure he can get the positions, but he wants to do it clean as possible, of course, though. He will take absolutely that, though, as Gatkowski actually back in the session. So with that said, Gatkowski should keep second place, but unfortunately for himself, cannot get that race victory unless Selly makes a mistake. But Volcano is the man to look out for now. As Gatkowski, can he actually get back in control of the car? I believe he is, as Jamie is actually losing time to him. So I think he is back in control of his car now. Although it looks to me, no, I don't think he is, to be fair. I'm not too certain. We will definitely keep a gap on, an eye on that gap. But let's focus on Volcano at the moment as well, as he's only got 1 lap to do this now. But he's actually lost time. He really tried this time, but didn't really use it well by the looks of it. He looks like he's not going to be able to get past Cucumber unless he has a brilliant final sector of this race. Of course, let's focus on Selly in a little bit of time as well, though. The man, of course, who stole pole position right at the end. It's a brilliant, brilliant race from him. Really clean, really simple, and another step forward in his championship. Took the race lead this race. Of course, took the championship lead last time out, and it looks like it's going to be an easy win for himself. Riding on board with Volcano now, who both of them have ran out of the RS. It doesn't look like there's going to be a move going on now, so let's go through towards the leader, the championship leader, Selly 360. An incredible qualifying lap, put him on pole position, took it at the last minute, 100th of a second. It made all the difference as he goes through Club Corner now, the final corner of the race. Surely a massive hand on the championship as Selly wins the British Grand Prix. An incredible drive. What a mesmerising victory from Selly. Incredible drive from himself. Clean, calm, collected. As Gatkowski, what could have been for him if he did not get this connection, really, which put him through. That put him in P2. Jamie in P3. Cucumber comes over the line in P4. Volcano could not get back past in the end. And when penalties are applied, Spanias in P6. A great recovery for himself, must be said. Limitless in P7. He will not be happy with the contact with Volcano, which happened oh so too late in the race for him to make a great comeback. So Limitless in P7, again he sees more points bleed away from his championship rival Selly, and Cucumber, who without a penalty of course I believe will be even close to Limitless, maybe actually overtake him in the championship. But at the moment it's Selly 360 out front, who again an incredible race for himself. See him celebrating there with the Austrian flag, a man who has won now, 3 races this season. Incredible driving from himself. So consistent, so clean, and just shows it every single race. Doesn't cause any problems, doesn't really get in any issues with any other drivers. Absolutely incredible race from him. Well-deserved spraying of the champagne. And at the moment, Selly 360 looks in a league of his own, unless Cucumber, Gatkowski and Limitless can do something about it. Selly surely is going to be pushing for that championship title here, Tier 1 of Flashpoint Racing League. So looking at the set there, we can see Selly, of course, from pole position, takes the 25 points. And of course, Gatkowski in P2. What could have been for him if he wasn't for that disconnection? P2 once again, another podium for himself. Really consistent, a great consistent drive again from Gatkowski, still looking for that victory. Jamie in P3 rounds out the top 3. Great drive from himself. Cucumber in P4. Potentially a penalty coming his way with the contact with Carl earlier on. But then Spanias in the Ferrari, great recovery drive from himself in P5. Limitless in P6 after the penalties are applied. Marios in P7, Lezad in P8 as well. Carl in P9 in the Haas, great recovery again from him after spinning out so soon. And then Igor rounds out the top 10 in the Mercedes. And the points paying positions. So again, an incredible race to watch, an incredible end, and an incredible season. Still half the season left. I don't know about you guys, but I'm incredibly excited to watch the rest of the season in Flashpoint Racing League. Hopefully I will be back next week to commentate for you guys. But thank you so much for joining me this evening, watching these incredible league races go around and set some incredible times and watch an incredible race with myself. So thank you again from myself, Oxide Nova, and like I say, see you next week for another incredible week of league racing action. But it is Selly here at the British Grand Prix, takes the victory once more and extends his championship lead at the top. Bye for now.